right, we are live. We are good to go, I think. Let's see. Not quite. I forgot to unmute something. Boom, there we go. Now the mic on the guitar amp. Now that's good to go. Let's actually move this guy. I really need to get another microphone because listening back to the last stream, I edited stuff. It's like, yeah, I do prefer having that mic right up to my face. But, oh well. I'll get it again eventually. Hello, Joe Lou from Austria. Lord Potato blessed us with potatoes. I don't know if they're still here. So, today's video number 6 of Coattail Riding, or stream number 6 of Coattail Riding. We're going to be looking at something called Full Arpeggio Workout by Robbie Barnby. Ooh, the Potates is here. It's probably because you're on your vacation. Right, let's change this guy over here. That's incorrect. What am I doing that's wrong here? 1 second. I'm supposed to have this here. I'm goofing up. Now, you need to be over here, I think. Yes, that's right. Alright, I forgot how I have this thing set up. And I want this, that. There we go. No children for 3.5 weeks. You know you're going to miss them. You miss them. Alright, there we go. I need this much smaller. Where is the beard? Where is the neck? He has not come on today. Maybe he's still working out. Alright, so yeah, like I said, we're going to be looking at this guy here. Full Arpeggio Workout. And I'm trying to get this. How did I have this last time? Now we do it this way. Here. Transform, reset transformation. There, I think that'll do. All right. Let's get into it. So, as usual, I don't watch any of this stuff before making the reaction. This is about 10.5 minutes long, so let's see what we can do. I've seen plenty of guitar practice workouts before, but I've never tried any. So let's get into it. Hopefully everything is heard this time. Nope. I just realized I have another settings incorrect. Let's try that one more time. Apologies. Change you to you. Alright, and back here. Now we should be coming to the one. There we go.
Hey guys, Robbie here. Today I thought I'd show you a really great arpeggio exercise.
So I certainly cannot do that right now. But yeah, that looks very difficult.
Which is one I try and do every day. It's a really good one because it's going to test your brain concentration skills, but it's also going to get you practicing your kind of technique stamina and get you playing all over the fretboard. So let's get to it. Okay.
Clearly jazz-based. I think it's clearly jazz-based, which I am not a jazz musician, and he has a jazz guitar, and I do not. So this will make things even more interesting, perhaps. Although all the arpeggios I was hearing, stuff. I mean, I know those arpeggios, but as far as playing them just like that and alternate picking the entire time, that adds a whole other element of difficulty. So I'm used to sweep picking things like that, and as you've seen, or you may have not seen, I think my sweep picking skills are rather subpar.
Okay, so I'm going to show you all the really essential chord qualities to apply to this because there's quite a few. However, let's first start with C major 7 while I show you what the exercise is. So it's basically a 3-octave arpeggio which ascends.
Whoops, wrong window. Come on, OBS, work with me here.
And descends.
Oh boy, indeed. This is, yeah, that's gonna take some practice there. Hey, let's talk some theory. Well, I don't know. Do we want to talk theory now, or let's see if he explains what this stuff is before I start going off on what the theory is.
So slowly.
I see he does hand shifting in different positions than I was just now doing. Not that that's wrong. We just do it differently.
So this shape is going to be our sort of skeleton or point of reference when changing it to other chord qualities too. So what I want you to really think about is getting the right fingering. You want to focus on the points where we need to change position because we want to try and make that as comfortable and as fluid as possible. So you're going to want to do what's comfortable by using your index to set up the next position.
Ah, all right. So he's got a reason for that. That makes sense. So he's basically, I see, he's playing the C major 7 arpeggio, like one of them. And then he moves his index finger into position for the root note again. So that's your root, 3rd, 5th, 7, and then he slides up. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7. But here the index finger wouldn't make sense. He's got to be using his middle when he plays this one. Root, 3rd, 5th, 7, perhaps. Hello, Joe. Good to see you on.
And then across all the different chord qualities, we're always going to have this jump to land on the 7th. And in this case, I'm using my ring finger to land on it. So index, jump.
Yeah, so he did use his middle finger, it looked like, for the root note that time, which makes sense because if you slid up to use your index finger here, well, you'd have to bounce back to use your index finger there.
Index. Okay, and then what we do with this is we take it through all 12 keys. So I like to go backwards around the cycle of fifths. So if we started on C, we'd could then now move up a fourth and do the exact same thing in F. So that has the exact same fingering and same shapes and positions. So if we went through all the keys, we'd get this. He's a nice one. Then when we get back to C, we change it to minor. So for the fingering for the minor, we
Yeah, this is a hell of a workout. Certainly a great way to know those arpeggio shapes all over the fretboard. That's one thing I've thought about doing with sweep picking shapes. Like I have definitely handicapped myself by only practicing certain sweep pick patterns in just like one spot. I mean, I'll do it in different different arpeggios throughout a specific key, but like for example, like I can do an A minor one pretty good starting right there, and maybe over here with the E minor one. But it's like as soon as I move to like a place I'd never really practiced in, I kind of lose the pattern. Like a major was a lot easier because it's all within a 4-fret span, whereas the minor's in a 5-fret span. So this guy, like what he's doing here, I think is really good if you really want to know arpeggios like all over the fretboard, because you won't be confined to just a key that you know. You're going to be doing it everywhere. So yeah, he ain't kidding when he said you're going to be exercising a lot of brain power, because yeah, you do have to concentrate a lot learning something like this.
use the exact same shapes as we did before, but we just adjust the notes and the fingering. So I'm still using my index finger to set up the next position. And we still have that big jump to the 7th. But this time I land on the 7th with my middle finger.
Flat 7th.
Because the middle finger and the root are now two frets apart. That jump probably looks quite hard at the moment, but with a bit of practice, it will become really comfortable, and it will just be, you won't even question that that's the correct way to do it. Okay, and then like before, we carry on taking this through all the 12 keys again. Etc. This is great because if we go through the exercise doing all the chord qualities, then it's going to take quite a while to get through. But I think long exercises are really good because it's really going to train your concentration and consistency, because you'll need to really focus to keep every note sounding good. And you could even combine this exercise with loads of different metronome practice techniques as well, so that you're working on a whole combination of things.
Did you hear that? Did you hear what he said? Metronome practice. I love it.
in one go. This is especially great if you don't have much time to practice. So let's go through all the other chord qualities. There'll definitely be more options than what I show you here, but I think these are going to be the most essential, which you'll want to start using in your playing straight away. So we've already covered the major and the minor, so the next one I would focus on would be the minor major 7. So for this one, I actually don't like using my pinky at the start of this, because this whole area can get quite cramped. So I don't actually use my pinky until landing on the 3rd octave. That's where I use it. We also want to include the major 7 sharp 5. Beautiful sound. So with this one, we now have a sharp 5, so the distance between the 3rd and the 5th is bigger. So that makes me want to play that sharp 5 with my pinky instead. But then that makes me want to jump up to the 7th with my middle finger instead of my ring finger. However, this is just my preference, and with all of these, you should try and work out what works best for you.
I like that. I was just thinking that, like, some of the stuff he was doing before, my hand would want to do things a little bit different. So him to say, you know, that's just his preference, but you can do it your way, that's good. I like that. One thing I've learned over the years is not forcing people to do a whole step stretch with their 1st, 3rd, and 4th. I've learned it's really a hand-to-hand kind of thing, because a lot of people do much better using the middle finger for the whole step stretch. So I'm glad he said that. Glad he said that.
You then definitely want to know the minor 7 flat 5. Okay, and then there's quite a few options which I like to do for the dominant chords. So first starting with a regular dominant 7th chord. And then dominant flat 5. Yeah, this one works great for your whole tone nonsense, but it's also perfect for a dominant sharp 11 as well. Also do dominant sharp 5. And then finally for the dominants, I like the sound of the dominant sus4 too. It's got that kind of pentatonic sound to it. You could also find more options by mixing some of them. For example, I think the sound of a dominant sus4 but with a flat 5 is really super cool. That's awesome. It's kind of like a sophisticated minor blues sound. And then
So I will be going back through these arpeggios he's talking about. We'll do some theory talk and explain what's going on there with the different intervals and making things perhaps a little bit more compact so we can explore these ideas more in depth here, because we can't just watch the video and go, ooh, right? We need to make some content and perhaps even practice one of the arpeggios. Probably just go to the first one, and I'll give explanation as to how I would go about learning one of these things, and metronoming the thing up, breaking it down into smaller, more easily digestible pieces and things like that. So we'll get into some more in-depth instruction, education, as after we get to the end of this thing here. Just about 3 minutes left.
the last two, which I do in this colossal exercise, is for the diminished. So one of my favorite modern S sounds to use is the diminished major 7, which sounds like this. So the fingering for this one can be a bit tricky because we've got a bigger jump now as we're going from a flat 5 to a major 7. Also, at the end of this, it can get a bit cramped. So what I do is I use my middle finger to play the last flat 5, which allows my index time to move. And finally, you could also apply a regular fully diminished arpeggio to this as well.
and put some distortion on, and you just played every necrophagist guitar solo. Exaggerating a bit, but yeah, just fully diminished seventh chords those get arpeggiated a lot in necrophagist solos, from what my ear tells me. It's a very, very cool, common metal-y thing to do, I'd say, and the more extreme stuff, that is. Not so much classic heavy metal. Anyway.
I also wanted to mention that it's good to remember we can use these arpeggio shapes to bring out other sounds too. For example, the C major 7 shape could also be used for an A minor 9 sound. C minor 7 could be an A flat major 9 sound, or also an E flat major 6. C major 7 sharp 5 could be used for an A minor major 9. And C minor 7 flat 5 could be used for an A flat 9. And also an E flat minor 6. Also, a really great sound is using the diminished major 7 for dominant chords. So,
a question over on the YouTube chat is, why do I hear sound effects when he plays? Hello. Sounds like he's using some kind of pad, like a synthesizer kind of thing. So like those chords he's talking about, so he's playing the arpeggio, and he says you can use this arpeggio along with this other chord. You're hearing that other chord from that pad sound from the synthesizer. So that's what you're hearing. So this way you can hear like the chord quality he's referring to, and then he's playing the arpeggio on top of that. So that's what's going on there.
So C diminished major 7 could be used for a D13 flat 9 sound. It could also be used for the other dominant chords in that family, which are a minor third part too, of course. Same goes for the regular fully diminished arpeggio as well. I also wanted to show another way I like to practice these arpeggio shapes. So as well as taking each arpeggio one by one through the cycle of fourths in a sort of non-stop long exercise, I also like to choose just one chord quality and practice moving chromatically. So if I take a major 7, I start at the lowest option, which is E, and ascend. But then when I descend, I play the next key a semitone above, so F. And then I keep going with that pattern. So the thing to watch out for is that instead of jumping to the 7th, I actually jump to the root instead, which is the 7th of the next key, for this chord quality anyway. So in full we get this.
I'm not going to figure that part out. Obviously, the man is a very skilled player.
So that's it for today, but if you enjoyed the video, please let me know by giving it a thumbs up and hitting the subscribe button, and the little bell thing as well. Also, let me know in the comments how you get on with this stuff, and if you want to see more of these kind of guitar exercises / warm-ups. But yeah, huge thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.
Alright, nice. Let's get into some chord theory and practicing things. Let's go back to, let's see, perhaps the first arpeggio there. Okay. Perhaps that one. Well, let's see, I want to have the tab on screen as well. Looks a bit better there. All right, and all right, let's break down practicing something like this. Let's do the practice portion, and then we'll get into the theory aspect afterwards. Now, one thing with arpeggio playing like this, like for me, it's very well set up for sweep picking. If you notice, when this guy's playing things, when he's going through all these exercises or arpeggios, however you'd like to call it, he is alternate picking the entire time. Nothing wrong with that, especially if you're trying to improve your alternate picking skills. For pure speed, I recommend throwing in some sweep picking plus legato as well. So perhaps pulling up a Guitar Pro and changing some things around might help. Why not? Let's change things around again. Alright, I'll get things adjusted in just a moment. So, let's see. I'm just going to copy this all note for note here. So he's got all his eighth notes, even though they're grouped together, and they're all beamed together in groups of 4. Never really a fan of doing eighth notes that way. But, well, whatever. Mathematically, it's the same. Although it looks like you're supposed to feel it as 16th notes instead of 8th. But whatever. Then we got your 19, 15, 14, 15, 12, and 8. And change this up here. All right. Now we got that there. Zoom in on this guy. Let me zoom out a little bit. Okay, so that's the arpeggio that he demonstrated at the beginning, or at least with the beginning of the explanation. So, yeah, starting with eighth notes, fantastic idea. But some things I'm thinking of that I might want to do is add in some hammer-ons, some pull-offs. Something like that. So breaking things down real simple, especially if you're brand new to this sort of idea, I would just do that first, because that is going from the first C major 7 right into the root note of the next one. So I think that's a good place to start. So, of course, you can do what he did in the video and alternate pick the whole time. But I like the idea of starting pick, hammer on, and then downstroke, downstroke, slide. So I would go about it that way. Again, it's totally up to you, depending on what it is you're trying to achieve with this. So if you do something like that, my recommendation is, do the eighth notes first. So of course, starting at the old 60, because fantastic amount of time for all these notes to get put in, a full second. So at the 60, it would sound like, and then you go up 5 every time you get that right. This way you really can concentrate on making sure everything sounds correct. Just keep going up more and more. So once you can get up to 240, or beyond, 240 and beyond, then I think it's okay to do the 16th notes instead, which would sound like this at 60 beats per minute. There we go. And you only need to get it correct one time before going up with that metronome. When it comes to building speed, speed's the name of the game. Even though you're still focused on accuracy first, you just need to play it correct once and then go up and go up by 5. So yeah, break it down into tiny pieces. So again, if you're brand new to this sort of thing, I would just do it in one arpeggio piece at a time. So that was the first time playing the C major 7. So this would be the next time. So yeah, I would like to do the pick, hammer, pick, downstroke, hammer on there as well. And then I would focus on, let's see, up to that. I think I'd like to play it that way. Because now I'm set up for those pull-offs there. And then from there, I would work on just that part. Now this is a bit interesting. I think that would work out pretty well there. Going pinky, ring first, middle first. And wait, did I go too far? Yes, I just needed to stop there. Because I will slide, putting the whole thing together, I would be sliding into that 16th fret next, which would give us this. Yeah, put it together that way, and then to get to the end, probably not tight enough. Pinky's feeling funny again. Okay, so that's how I'd break that down. So to summarize that up, and this would be a good thing for my lovely editor to do here, just highlight this part. So breaking it down into small pieces, I would learn or be able to play just one C major 7 arpeggio at a time, ending on the root note of the next one. So practice that chunk, then this chunk, practice this chunk, practice this chunk, then this chunk, then this chunk. And again, this is really for the people that are brand new to this sort of thing, brand new to these arpeggios, moving in this kind of manner across the fretboard. Because if you've never played things like this before and you try and do all that to start, you might be a little bit too much. But then after you get the 2 chunks down, then you can, or not the 2 chunks, once you get 1 chunk down at a time, then try for 2. And they do 2 of them at the same time. And so work on it that way, and then eventually, go all the way up to the top, and then all the way to the bottom, and then you can do the whole thing. So let's work on this whole thing. It is chilly in this room. Heaters in this apartment are terrible. Terrible. I'm going to have to get space heaters for every single room in this place. You'd think these apartments in Cheyenne, Wyoming, where it gets rather cold during the winter, they'd install stuff that would work. No. All right. I am not convinced right now that I could actually get this thing all the way to. Well, I'm not sure if I can get it to 100. Let's try it, or do I? All right. So what am I rambling on about here? So my rule of thumb is, if you're going to work on a 16th note pattern, you have to be able to get it to 100, at least 120, your first practice session, or you're not ready for 16th notes. Now, because I'm not used to this pattern, the way it's laid out, I've never done this big of a sweep kind of thing. I'm going to play it safe and do eighth notes to begin with, and let's see where we can wind up. Rick Graham has a helpful video of horizontal arpeggios. I haven't seen it. Should we do one of those? Should we put that on the list and check that out? I believe it. That guy is very skilled. In fact, Rick Graham commented on the video we just looked at, talking about how good the workout was, or the exercise was. I think that's how I'm doing it. Yeah. Boy. Nope, that's a hammer-on, not a slide. Oh boy. You can't post a link, so you're trying to, but then it won't let you do it. Or if you just said or pasted the title of it, then I could find it. All right, well let's see where we can get with this guy, and then after some practice, we'll do some music theory. That is not fully on the screen anymore. There we go. Dink. Better not hide my own advertisement, right? All right, let's see. What can we do here? Up 5. Hi, Caleb. That's all right. You're just in time for practice. I am having a difficult time sitting in this chair right now. All right. probably be best to memorize before putting it all together. Whoop. Yeah. There we go. Yeah, this is going to be real tough when I get going faster with it. But, you know, it's good to show how this sort of stuff goes. Well, if you do start playing it, Mr. Joe, let me know. Let me know how it goes. Nope. Good. Yep. Come on. Oh my god. I gotta stop for a second. One thing to point out there with the way I'm practicing this stuff, you notice that every time I make a mistake, I stop and start again. That's an important thing to do. Very important thing to do. Something that I tend to catch myself repeating quite often. Perfect practice makes perfect. Only perfect practice makes perfect. So if you make a mistake, do not continue on. So like if you flub this arpeggio halfway through, don't continue on. Start it again. Start it again. Because if you make a mistake and you continue on, you're just practicing mistakes. We don't want to do that. Search Rick Graham horizontal arpeggios. All right, I will definitely do that. It's definitely more difficult to practice than the one position shape. Alright, let's give this guy another go. God damn. This might be my end point here, because my brain's not putting all the information together fast enough. There you go. So, Whew. Just a slow ass 150. So it's definitely good. I did not try doing 16th notes at first. So there you go. That's how I would practice doing this guy. Additional tips on this sort of thing. So let's say you're going to try playing this whole thing just as I did now. Well, what happens if, let's say, after a week, you're really struggling with this and you're just not making any progress? Definitely should decrease the amount you're trying to do. Split it in half at least. So that would be my approach. So I could, if I was to actually continue practicing this, which I have no intention of doing so right now, but if I was, I would try doing the full thing again the next day and see if I make any progress. I think the big issue right now is this pattern, for the most part, is new to me. I recognize a lot of the shapes. I can, the first part there. I know that one. That's the C major 7 shape that I will teach students as well. So there's definitely stuff in there I recognize. I mean, I know these notes. It's in the key of C. I teach these scales all the time. I play it. I don't know how many times I played it. So there's a good amount I already know. It's just doing it with this much distance covered in that specific way. That's new to me. So my brain right now is just what the hell is going on here? So it needs to process all the information. So just coming back the next day, I would be very surprised if I did not get faster than 150, because right now I just need to let it all kind of, let the brain put all the pieces together, so to speak. So if you ever noticed, you'll start learning a song or a piece of music one day and it's a struggle, but you come back the next day, it's way easier. Same kind of thing. In fact, it's the exact same thing. Well, I'll say thank you to that, Mr. Caleb. Hey, let's get into the chord theory portion now. So I'm going to bring back the video we were watching. And let's see, I want to get some kind of side-by-side thing. Because I want us to be able to see the arpeggios he's talking about and then have a text document up to kind of go in detail the different chords. And then things will get edited down and I'll have different videos and whatnot I can throw up. Look at that. Just getting all kinds of things done in one go. Even though it may not look like the most professional stuff, that's fine for now. Got lots of things I'd like to get done. And I will get them done eventually. Alright. That might, well, let's see. Try moving this guy a little bit more. Okay, we can do that. And I suppose that's okay. Alright, so the first chord, no, because that's being covered up. If I do it like this, can it look better? No, because I want that thing to be shown at the bottom. Alright, if I do full screen, well, obviously that won't work because then I can't show that. Alright, hold on. I'm trying to get this set up in a way that looks...
So if we start on C, we'd then now move up fourth and do the exact same.
Oh, just duh. Just do this. Sometimes I don't know why I don't... It's why didn't I think of that the first time? I don't know. Alright, cool. So now we can actually see the symbol there. So yeah, if you have a C and then a triangle, the triangle means major 7. Did you know that? It's not used very often. Usually you just see it as MAJ7. So, major 7, C major 7, So let's do this. So major 7 equals the intervals 1, 3, 5, oops, and 7. So in this case, it's C major 7. We got the notes C, E, G, and B. So how can we figure that out? How do we know that's really the case? I'm going to switch over to clean here. So we know this. So we got to know what the major scale is first. So if we play a C major scale, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. There's the root note again. So the first note, C, the third note, E, the fifth note, G, and the seventh note, B. Those are the notes that make a C major 7. So as you're playing the first, third, fifth, and seventh note of a major scale at the same time, well, that gives you a major 7th chord right there. So that's a very typical way of doing a C major 7. 3, 2, 0, 0, 0. So he gets into much more interesting arpeggios coming up here. So let's continue on.
Same thing in F. So that has the exact same fingering minor. So for the fingering for the minor, we use the...
All right, so minor 7. The difference here, so to get the minor 7, what we do is we're going to take the third interval of the major 7 and the 7th interval of the major 7. We're going to flat both of those. So a C minor 7. We're going to have C. Now it's E flat, G, and B flat. So take those 4 notes we started with, C, E, G, B. Now we're going to flat the E and flat the B. So major 7, minor 7. Here's a nice way of playing a C major 7. But this is your root note, then your 5th interval, 7th interval, 3rd. So if we flatten the notes that the ring finger and pinky are on, now we got a minor 7. Major 7, minor 7. All right. Next.
The exact same shapes as we did before, but we just adjust the notes and the fingering, etc. This is great because if we go through the exercise doing all this. So let's go through all the other chord qualities. There'll definitely be more options than what I show you here, but I think these are going to be the most essential, which you'll want to start using in your playing straight away. So we've already covered the major and the minor, so the next one I would focus on would be the minor major 7.
So minor major 7 is found in harmonic minor. I'm sure it's found in other ones too, but the one that comes to mind, well, yeah, Hungarian minor, it has that. So with this one, I think the easiest way to explain it is you take your minor 7 and you're going to take the flat 7th interval and raise that a half step to give the major 7. Tomo, hello! Definitely some very cool sounds in here. And he can play these arpeggios way better than me. So right now we're just going over the theory involved with it all, because, you know, gotta make content, right? But I guess you don't have to. I'd like to. I need to make my name bigger, and I need to do it in ways that I have time to do it. Whoops, I need to change this. Minor doesn't equal that. It's minor 7. Minor 7, there we go. So here, minor major 7. Yeah, so we're taking, again, the minor 7th chord. And instead of having a flat 7 or a minor 7, we're going to make it a natural 7 or major 7. So a C minor major 7, as I tend to see it written. We have the notes C, E flat, G, B. Now, when I was taught that specific chord there, I was taught minor natural 7. So So you'd see minor and then a natural symbol 7, which makes sense to me because it's saying that you have a minor triad, the 1, flat 3, and 5, plus a natural 7, which is the same thing as a major 7. So natural 7th interval is a major 7 interval. Same thing. I've seen an odd way of spelling it. Like in this case, instead of saying C minor major 7 or C minor natural 7, I've also seen it like C minor sharp 7. And I get what the author was trying to get at, because it's basically saying you take a minor 7th chord and then you sharp the flat 7. But if you look at it as just a sharp 7, I mean, it's really just the root note, because what is the 7th but, like, again, C, D, E, F, G, A, B. That's the 7th interval there. If you sharp it, well, you're just back to the 1. So I don't agree with that kind of spelling. I was like, yeah, I get it, but should we really call it that? But then again, that's the only time I've ever seen it. And I've also only seen it be called a minor natural 7 in the chord theory books that I was working out of. So typically, yes, minor major 7, that's what you see it called.
So for this one, I actually don't like using my pinky. We also want to include the major 7 sharp 5.
Major 7 sharp 5. This is also in harmonic minor. So in this case, this chord is going to be actually the 3rd chord in A harmonic minor. And what we do here, so it says major 7 sharp 5. So one of the nice things about like these big complicated chord names, I don't know if you even want to call this complicated, but it might be if you're unfamiliar with these sorts of things. Like it tells you what's happening in the chord name, like the interval structure. So major 7, like saying major tells you when you're starting off with that major 7, well, major because we have a major triad first, and then you're adding the 7th interval to that. So again, so major 7 sharp 5 is saying we have the same intervals as the major 7, except we take the 5 and raise it up a half step, giving us sharp 5th, which is basically taking a C augmented chord. Well, in this case, because we're doing everything starting on C, we're taking a C augmented chord and adding the 7th interval to it. So in this case, we'd have C, E, G sharp, and B. So another way to look at getting that augmented sound or the augmented chord, you start with the major chord, raise that 5th note up a half step. And there we have a C major 7 sharp 5.
So with this one, we then definitely want to know the minor 7 flat 5.
Minor 7 flat 5. Okay. We're about to run out of room here. How can I add a column? Well, I see we can have stuff there. What if I do this? I wonder why it won't let me add in a row or a column. Do I need to do table? Oof, definitely don't do that. Alright, let me find a workaround here. Oh. Nope, 2 p.m. Mountain Time. Oh well. Oh, I'm still on 2 p.m. your time. Let me do it like this. Here. Yeah, that'll work. All right, so minor 7 flat 5. This is also known as a half diminished 7. So minor 7 flat 5. So this is really taking a diminished triad, which is first, flat third, flat 5, and then adding a flat 7 to that. So in this chord, we will have, oops, I just noticed there's a J missing. So C minor 7, flat 5. That would give us the notes C, E flat, G flat, and B flat. C flat, E flat, G flat. Those are the three notes for a C diminished chord. And then the B flat. Let's go to the next chord he talks about. Oops.
There's quite a few options which I like to do for the dominant chords. So first starting with a regular dominant 7th chord.
All right, dominant 7. All right, dominant 7. This is taking a major triad and adding a flat 7 or minor 7th interval to it. So in this case, instead of writing C dominant 7, the typical way is just writing C7. And the notes for this are C, E, G, B flat. Now this guy's going to be testing my theory knowledge here coming up, because just thinking back on some of the things that he mentioned, holy moly. Let's see if I can see how well I can figure out some of these crazy jazz chords here.
And then dominant flat 5?
Dominant flat 5. Okay. So the names of the chord really give away what the interval structure is. So we know what a dominant 7th chord is. So a dominant 7 flat 5, well, just look above there. If the dominant 7 is 1, 3, 5, flat 7, a dominant 7 flat 5 would need to be 1, 3, flat 5, flat 7. Which would give us, so this would be C7 flat 5. We'd have C, E, G flat, B flat.
Yeah, this one works great for your whole tone nonsense, but it's also perfect for a dominant sharp 11 as well. Also do dominant sharp 5.
Dominant sharp 11. And that makes sense. Okay, so why would that? Let's go over that. What are the dominant sharp 11? So this one could be a bit confusing here, or a big mouthful. When it comes with arpeggios, we got quite a few notes being used. If it was just a guitar strumming things, the way I was taught, we can simplify things a little bit. I'll get into that in a second. So what the hell is a dominant sharp 11? So with that, the way I like to explain it, the way I learned it, all the other intervals before that sharp 11 are implied to be the way it's supposed, like unaltered. So we see dominant, that implies that we have the dominant 7 in there, the 1, 3, 5, flat 7. Okay, so that is implied in the name. Going all the way up to 11, that means we can have a 9th interval as well. And then we have the sharp 11. Now when it comes to like strumming chords, the way I was taught is like an 11th chord, we take a 7th chord and add the 11th interval to it. But I've also seen that as like 7 add 11. So I've seen it done 2 different ways. So I would say the 9th interval, if you're going to just strum a chord like that on the guitar, because we have limited fingers and strings, I would include the 1, 3, 5, flat 7, and the sharp 11, if we're doing a dominant sharp 11. A lot of times the 5th interval can be expendable in the chord sound. In this case, I would say no. Because if we do that, if we don't have the 5 in here, it's just going to sound like a dominant 7 flat 5. We need that contrast of the 5 and the sharp 11 there, because the sharp 11 is the same note as a sharp 4, which is the same distance as a flat 5. Was that confusing? I understand why it would be. But if you know some theory, that might make sense. So if we do the notes here for a C, C dominant sharp 11, we could just say C. I guess there'd be a couple ways. You might say, because I wouldn't want to put it as C sharp 11. If you do that, well, now it looks like it's a C sharp as the root note, and then this is dominant 11th chord, but that's not the case. Let's see, how would I want to do that? How does he do it? He doesn't show it. He do it that way, C sharp 11, but no. See, now I told you I was getting tested on my theory knowledge right here. No, it would be, okay, if we do it this way, I know what to do now. If we do it this way, chord-wise, if we were to strum it, that would make sense. We'd actually end up with, you could also say this is a C7 add sharp 11, the way I'm currently writing it out. So it should give us the 5, flat 7, and then sharp 11, which would give us the notes C, E, G, B flat, and F sharp. However, if we wanted to have all the notes or account for the 9th as well, and that's what I was missing in my brain for a second there, we need to do C9 sharp 11. So that if you put C9 sharp 11, that implies all this stuff. It's basically a dominant 9 plus the sharp 11. I feel that's the best way to spell that out. So if we do that, the notes would be C, E, G, B flat, D, F sharp. So that's a hell of an arpeggio right there. There's a lot of stuff going on there. Chord-wise, so let's say if we took like a C major chord, turn it into a C dominant 7, and then you would have added in the sharp 11. I feel the easiest way to do that is just lower the 5, so you could say, oh, technically it's a sharp 4. Yes, but all the notes are there. Let me see, another way of doing that guy is, God, I haven't done these kind of chords in a long time. We need the F sharp in there somehow. How do I want to do that? I'm just trying to think on the fly here, like another way of putting this all together. We could do that there, but then we lose that guy. Thumb. We do it like that. There's your C, there's a root note, there's the 5, that's the flat 7, there's the 3rd interval, there's your sharp 11. Arpeggio-wise, C, E, so doing all of the intervals there, including the 9th, C, E, G, B flat, D, and then the F sharp. So rather interesting sound. I see we have a retracted message. Wonder what was said. All right, let's see. We're almost out of room on this thing, unfortunately. I wonder. Oh, wonder if it'll look okay if I shrink it a little bit. Let me try something. Hopefully that's still easy enough to read. Because I know we got some more theory to check out here. I want to have it all on the screen at the same time.
And then finally for the dominants, I like the sound of the dominant sus4 too.
Dominant sus4. C7 sus4. So he called it a whoa. Whoa. Hold on a minute. Let me change that to an eighth. So dominant sus4, he says. So we're dominant. Oh, goes dominant 7 sus4. Because that's really what's going on here. So in this case, we'd have a C7 sus4. So looking at that, you'd have to know some suspended chord information as well. So basically, it's saying that you're taking the dominant 7 intervals, so the 1, 3, 5, flat 7, and then we're going to replace the third interval with a fourth. So I need to do this. 1, 4, 5, flat 7. So that would give us a C, F, G, B flat. C, F, G, B flat. And he's about to say how he likes that because it has a very pentatonic sound. Well, it certainly does, because that's in a pentatonic scale. In fact, that's 4/5 of a pentatonic. 1, 2, 3, 4 notes. The only thing missing is that minor third. All right. What else we got? I know we got some really crazy crap coming up in a second.
It's got that kind of pentatonic sound to it. You could also find more options by mixing some of them. For example, I think the sound of a dominant sus4 but with a flat 5 is really super cool.
Dominant sus4 flat 5. All right, here we go. Okay, so why does it keep changing the font size here? Dominant 7 sus4 flat 5. That's a mouthful. So, what the heck does that give us? So again, just building off what we just looked at, you have a 1, 4, flat 5, flat 7. So we would have a C7 sus4 flat 5. Sometimes you see that in parentheses. That would give us the notes C, F, G flat, B flat. Which is a very Locrian sound. Which is also very Oriental sounding, I think. That's one of the Japanese pentatonic scales there. I don't remember which one though.
That's awesome. It's kind of like a sophisticated minor blues sound. And then the last two, which I do in this colossal exercise, is for the diminished. So one of my favorite modern S sounds to use is the diminished major 7, which sounds like this.
Diminished major 7. I don't know where that would be found in a scale. With all the modes out there, I'm sure it exists in one of them. I'm just not familiar with. But he said major. What did he say? Hang on, let me hear that again. Diminished major 7. That's right. So looking at it there, I can see that. So C, the 0 there, or the O, that's actually for a diminished. So C diminished major 7 because of the triangle. So diminished major 7, we have a diminished chord, 1 flat 3 flat 5 plus a major 7. So just that's that. So the notes we would end up getting would be C, or called this C diminished, and then we can just put that in parentheses, I suppose, major 7. And we would have the notes. We have C, E flat, E flat, G flat for the diminished chord, and then a B note for the 7th. So we would have. Let's see, if we took actual C diminished and added the major 7, we would just take that octave of the root note and drop it a half step.
So the fingering for this one can be a bit tricky because we've got a bigger jump now as we're going from a flat 5 to a major 7. Also, at the end of this...
And actually, let me do something here real quick. Not that. Actually... I'm going to be right back because, good gracious, I need to go to the bathroom so freaking bad and I want to finish this theory stuff. So, be right back. All right, back. Let's get back to the theory. Obviously, that part's going to get edited out, I would hope. Okay, I need to change this back to what it was. Wait a minute. If I go here... Yeah, it is the same. All right, one sec. I got to fix this. There. Alright, that's back where that was. And let's see, was that it? That it? There? No. Yes. That's the right scene. Okay. Where are we at now? We just did diminished major 7.
It can get a bit cramped. So what I do is I use my middle finger to play the last flat 5, which allows my index time to move. And finally, you could also apply a regular fully diminished arpeggio to this as well.
Fully diminished. So fully diminished 7. That is very characteristic of harmonic minor. You want to sound harmonic minor? Play diminished 7. So that is a 1, flat 3, flat 5, double flat 7. So you could also call this, put this here, that would be minor 6, flat 5, because you end up with the same distance. I'll explain that in a second. Basically a flat 7, or double flat 7 and a 6th interval, if I'm thinking of this correct, is the same distance from the root note. I'm going to double check that in a second. Hold on. So if we have a C diminished 7, we'd have C, E flat, G flat, B double flat. All right, so if we did the minor 6 flat 5, we'd have C, E flat, G flat, A. Now that might be weird, and you might wonder why have B double flat? Why not just go A? It really depends on the mode being used with whatever key you're working in. It's kind of a pedantic thing, but it's, you know, very, very specific with stuff. But that's so yeah. If you have again your C diminished, and you go to the B flat, B double flat, I mean. So 12th fret on the A string is A, but basically what's happening, I'm trying to picture the actual mode because I know it better down here. Basically like a mixolydian. If you took B mixolydian, am I thinking of this correctly? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, if you took B mixolydian, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you raised the B up to the C, that gives you, in harmonic minor, that would be the 7th mode, which is Superlocrian double flat 7. Which gives us the intervals 1, flat 2, flat 3, flat 4, flat 5, flat 6, double flat 7. So because of that mode, we're counting up just the notes. So that's your 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th note in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That 7th note is a step and a half below the root note. So that would mean if you go back a half step from the root note, which is where the 7 is, you go back a whole step from the root note, that is the flat 7 or minor 7, so a step and a half would be a double flat 7, which is the same note if you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 in a major scale. Was that confusing? I don't blame you if it felt confusing. Because when I learned this stuff, things like that were a big, what? What are you talking about? So hopefully that made sense to at least one person out there. So there's your fully diminished 7. He gets into some crazy weird stuff here in a second. Let's see if we can keep going. This is a nice long stream here.
I also wanted to mention that it's good to remember we can use these arpeggio shapes to bring out other sounds too. For example, the C major 7 shape could also be used for an A minor 9 sound.
So C major 7 with an A minor 9. Ooh, we're getting in depth here. So we got the C major 7 over here. So what is an A minor 9? Well, a minor 9 equals 1, flat 3, 5, flat 7, plus a 9. So we mentioned A minor 9. So A minor 9 would give us the notes A, C, E. So there's your A minor chord. Plus the G gives you your A minor 7. Plus the B gives us an A minor 9. So there's an arpeggio for that.
C minor 7 could be an A flat major 9 sound.
A flat major 9. Okay, A flat major 9. So in that case, it's basically a major 9 chord. Major 9 would equal the intervals 1, 3, 5. So there's your major triad. Plus the 7 gives us our major 7 plus a 9. So that's a major 9. And he said A flat for the root notes. So A flat, major 9. All right, that's going to be A flat. That'll be C and E. E flat. And then the 7th of that is G. And the 9th of that would be B flat. So A flat, C, E flat, G, and then B flat. Nope, I did that wrong. There it is.
Or also an E flat major 6.
E flat major 6. So let's just start with what a major 6 is. Any guesses? Can somebody say what it is before I write it out? Major 6. Very close to a major 7. You have the major triad, but instead of a 7, now we have a 6. And he said E flat, major 6. So E flat 6 is how you can write that, which would give us the notes. So chords for an E flat major chord. E flat, of course. Then we'd have G, B flat, and C. C is the 6th. And there we have a E flat major 6 arpeggio.
C major 7 sharp 5 could be used for an A minor major 9.
A minor major 9. Okay, so minor major 9. Minor major 9. This is a lot like the minor major 7, where we have the minor 7 triad to start, and then we have just a natural 7, natural 9. So the notes for an A minor major 9, we would have the A minor chord first, A, C, and E. And then the natural 7, which is G sharp, plus a B. So A, C, E, whoops, A, C, E, G sharp, and then the B. Let's see. So there's a way to play it. Or a way to strum the chord anyhow. What else we got?
And C minor 7 flat 5 could be used for an A flat 9.
A flat 9, which is just a dominant 9. We have not looked at a dominant 9 in this thing yet, now have we? No. Alright, so a dominant 9 is an extension of the dominant 7. So 1, 3, 5, you got your major triad plus the flat 7 or minor 7, which gives us the dominant 7th chord plus the 9. And that would be an A flat 9 right there. What are those notes? So an A flat 9, A flat 9, or dominant 9. Rocket science. It's quite confusing at first, but as you learn the building blocks of it all, it's just really one thing that just kind of builds upon itself. So you start with like the small thing, and you just add a little bit, add a little bit, add a little bit, add a little bit. So yeah, it's extremely confusing when you're first looking at it, but after a while, there is logic to the whole thing. So the notes for an A flat dominant 9. So an A flat major chord, A flat, C, E flat, and then we need a flat 7, which would be a G flat, plus the 9 is a B flat. So A flat, C, E flat, G flat. There is our dominant 9. B flat. Could also go here. That's a way you could bar a dominant 9. What else does he have?
And also an E flat minor 6.
E flat minor 6. Goodness gracious. Minor 6th chord. Alright, a minor 6 might be kind of confusing here, because with a minor 7 we have a flat 7th interval. A minor 6 we do not. A minor 6 is taking a minor triad, 1, flat 3, and 5, plus a 6. So he said E flat minor 6. All right, so an E flat minor 6. So first we need an E flat chord, or E flat minor chord, which would be E flat, G flat, B flat. And then the 6, which would be a C. So there are the notes for an E flat minor 6. Which is very Dorian. It's a Dorian sound. Because in the Dorian mode, we have a minor 6th chord. So if you want to make something sound Dorian, just play a minor 6th. And you are gold. We're about out of room on this thing. Is there more?
Also, a really great sound is using the diminished major 7 for dominant chords. So C diminished major 7 could be used for a D13 flat 9 sound.
Oh, God. Yes, there is more. Man, this room is cold. Even though I'm blasting the heater in here, this is ridiculous. Yeah, I need to get another space heater for this place, which is a damn shame. It's ridiculous. No, don't do that. Alright. I'm going to have to decrease the font size one more time. Hopefully that's still... You can still see it okay. Actually, let's do this. Font size is decreased. I just zoomed in on it. Let's put it over here. Alright, cool. Holy crap. A D13 flat 9. Alright. You know, I should save this. One nice thing about this program here is it automatically saves for you. I'm going to put this in YouTube videos because that's what we're doing right now. Da-da-da-da-dum. Arpeggio workout video chord theory. All right, so D13 flat 9. How the heck do we break that down? 13th chords. What's interesting about a 13th chord? It's a 7-note chord. Now I'm going to say something that might sound very strange. But when you play a 13th chord, and if you have all seven notes in a 13th chord, you are playing all 7 notes of every kind of 13th chord that you can have. What? You're basically, if you think about it, you're just skipping every other note when you're doing a 13th chord. So if I skip every other note, climbing up from C to C here, we go C, E, G, B, D, F, A, and then back to C. That is a C major 13 right there. But again, we're just skipping every other note, but eventually we hit all the notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 notes. Make a major scale, which also makes a minor scale, which makes your Dorian mode, your Phrygian mode, Lydian mode, Mixolydian, Locrian. So every single 13th chord is an inversion of every 13th chord in that key. There's rocket science for you. Yeah, I might, well, we're going to be done with the stream pretty soon, so my usual sweater or hoodie is in the wash. Got to go do laundry here pretty soon. So, yeah, so looking at that chord on the screen there, D13 flat 9 says it is a dominant 13 with a flat 9. So, good grief, dominant 13 flat 9. I'm going to explain it this way first. To have a dominant 13 flat 9, so basically what the heck is that? We start with a major triad, again, and then we add the flat 7, which gives us our dominant 7. Now, if we didn't have a flat 9, we would just have this. would basically be a major 13 with a flat 7, which gives us a dominant 13. But like it says there, it's a flat 9. So we just go in here and flat the 9. Let's maybe back that up a sec. There we go. So that's a dominant 13 flat 9 right there. We have the dominant 7. And then it says dominant 13, so that implies that there is an 11 in there plus the flat 9. So if you were to strum, I mean, you're going to have a hard time just playing that chord on guitar. So what could you do if you wanted to play a chord that's a dominant 13 flat 9 but not an arpeggio? You actually want to do a chord shape? What I recommend doing is just play the 1st, the 3rd, flat 7, flat 9, and the 13. The 5 is expendable. It doesn't add to the sound. It just really thickens up the root note. 11 kind of does the same thing. Not so much, though. But in this case, I would say the most important intervals for this dominant 13 flat 9 are the root note, of course, and then the 3, the flat 7, because if you have a 1, 3, and a flat 7, it sounds dominant. 13 is in the chord title there, so yeah, we want to hear the 13. 13th interval is the same note as the 6th. And then the flat 9, because, well, it says so, and that's a very distinct sound. Thank you, Joe Lou. So let's see. D13 flat 9 is on the screen. So D13 flat 9. What are those notes? All right, we got a D, D, F sharp, A. And you may notice I'm looking down at my neck on the guitar every now and then, because I still, even though I've been playing for over 20 years, I like to reference the fretboard sometimes, just to be safe. Make sure, like, am I really looking at this the correct way? Am I thinking about it the right way? Yes. So sometimes students of mine will be like, oh, I think I should be able to do all this stuff in my head. I'm like, why? Use the guitar. Just use it. Make it easier on yourself. We can always make things harder. We want to be able to do it easy first, and then we can make things more difficult. Stop trying to make things difficult first. Make it easy first. This way you can handle the difficult. Anyway, D, F sharp, A. There we got your C for the flat 7. Flat 9 is an E flat. And let's see, the 11th is a G. And then the 13, which is a 6, is a B. So, am I missing anything here? So you got D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Okay. So that's everything there. So we want to arpeggiate that. D, F sharp, A, C, E flat, G, B. If we were to do a chord that we hold, remember I recommended just playing the root 3rd, flat 7, flat 9, and 13. So if we did that, let's see. I don't want to make this fit on the screen here. I'm holding space. So if we were to do just the chord, D, F sharp, A, no, cut that one out. Try and make this easier to see. And then we'll do, yes, the C note, the E flat, and the B. So I did like a dominant 7. I could do that here. I want the flat 9 though, which would be done here. And then the flat 13, or there's the 13, which would be here. That is not fun to hold. So what's another way we could do this? Can we utilize open strings? Well, let's see. So if we have a D, F sharp, that's the 5. We don't need the 5. We need the 13 though, which would be here. The B notes. Yeah, that would be a B. We could also utilize the open B string if need be, because then we could do, there's your flat 7. We need an E flat, which would be right here. Could do it like that. 10, 9, 10, 8, 0. So that gives us our D. There is the F sharp. There's the C notes. There's the E flat. And there's the B notes. If I did it like this, curious. Anyway, well, there you go. There's one way of doing it. Let's see. What else? What other crazy crap has he got here?
It could also be used for the other dominant chords in that family, which are a minor third.
Holy mother of F. All right. I think this is the last chunk that he does here. Let's continue on. All right, so we just did the dominant 13 flat 9. So F7 flat 9 flat 5. Good lordy lord, that is a mouthful. But what it is right there in the name. So that would be a dominant 7 flat 9 flat 5. Which would give us a dominant 7th chord, 1, 3, 5, flat 7, plus a flat 9. Whoops. And we have to flat the 5. So there we go. 1, 3, flat 5, flat 7, flat 9. So he's got F7. F7, flat 9, do it this way, flat 9, flat 5, holy moly. So those notes would be, all right, starting with almost an F major chord, F major flat 5, would be F, A, C flat, not B, but C flat, because B is reserved for the 4th position. So anyway, so F, A, C flat, and then we need the flat 7, which would be an E flat, plus the flat 9, which would be a G flat. So F, A, I'm going to do this over here, F, A, C flat, which is Soraya's song. Or is it Saria's song? I don't know how to pronounce it. Anyway. And that's a very Lydian sound right there. So far, anyway. So continuing. So F, A, C flat in this case to an E flat. That's not an E flat. That is. To a G flat. So there we go. The notes for an F7 flat 9 flat 5. Saria. The second one, is that how I said it? Saria. So it sounds like Daria. Saria. Saria, yeah, so like Daria. How would you strum that? Well, there's an F down below. Let's not do it like that. That'd be a good way to do it there. And then you flat the 5. But then adding in the flat 9. How the hell am I going to add that guy Ugh. God. What if I did it over here? No. Nah. I don't want to try it right now. We're almost done with this. This has been going on for almost 2 hours. Let's just go, push on. Maybe the next stream someone wants to remind me, hey, how do you strum a F7 flat 9 flat 5? I'll do it then. All right, let's see. Next on that list is an A flat 7 sharp 9. So that is basically a dominant 7 with a sharp 9. So that would give us 1, 3, 5, flat 7, sharp 9. There we go. All right, so then an A flat 7, sharp 9, and you might also see the sharp 9 in parentheses. I really don't think it matters. I think it just makes it easier to read things sometimes. All right, so we would need an A major chord to begin with. So A, C sharp, and E, plus the flat 7, which is G, plus a sharp 9, which is the same distance as a flat third. So you basically have an A minor and an A major chord within this. That's an A minor and an A major sound at the same time. Because this would be a B sharp. So the ninth interval is the same note as the second interval. So if we go up a whole step, oh wait, A flat. Oh, I screwed that all up. I need to flat everything. It needs to be A flat, C, E flat, G flat, B. So there we go. So yeah, if you go up in A flats, if you go up to the second note of an A flat major scale, that is B flat. So the sharp third is B. Anyway, just playing this guy, we have A flat, C, E flat, G flat, B. And the last one, dominant 7, flat 9. B7, flat 9. Wait. Dominant 7. What am I doing? 7, flat 9. That gives us dominant 7 chord first. 1, 3, 5, flat 7, plus a flat 9. With B as the root notes. That gives us, hang on, do this. B7, flat 9. So we would have the notes for a B major chord to begin with, which would be B, D sharp, F sharp, plus the flat 7, which is A, plus the flat 9, which would be a C. So there we go. So there's the B major chord. There's your flat 7. Why do I feel like something is wrong here? It's not like... Hold on a second. What am I screwing up? B, D sharp, F sharp, to the A, to the C. But isn't that A flat, C, E flat, G flat, B? Oh, duh. It is the same frickin' chord, basically. It's the same spacing because... Remember how I said the other one is basically a combination of like a minor and a major at the same time? Anyway. So, a flat 9 or a sharp 9 is the same sound as a minor third. Wait a minute. No, I have screwed something up royally. Hello, Apollo. There we go. Why am I not... I think I've been streaming too long. My brain's short-circuiting. What am I missing here? I feel like I've really screwed something up. Because, yeah, A flat, C, E flat. That's your 1, 3, 5. And then your flat 7. The G flat. And then your sharp 9. That's why. Because I'm a dumb... I'm being a big dummy-dumb. That's not a... I wrote out the notes correctly, but I did not execute it properly. The A flat 7 sharp 9 is not... It's not that. It's that. That's what it is. That's what screwed me up. I played it wrong the first time. So, editor, hi. I know this has got to be a pain in the ass. That needs to go with the other thing. So the A flat 7 sharp 9 is played, the arpeggiated like this. A flat, C, E flat, G flat, B. And then the B 7 flat 9, I did play that correct. B, D sharp, F sharp, A, C. Holy hell. Well, I'm glad I figured that out. I would have had a big old fat mistake in the video, which makes you wonder how many other mistakes I get there. But hey, if you find out, if you can point out any mistakes in all this theory stuff, do so. Why not? Let's teach each other. I think that's everything, though.
Same goes for the regular fully diminished arpeggio as well. I also wanted to show another way I like to practice these arpeggio shapes.
Oh, Lord. Okay. We're at an end here. Time for bed indeed. Well, yeah, time for laundry. All right. This was a big, fat-ass stream. But got a lot of content in here, I think. So, usually I wait around for last-minute questions or comments, but considering how long I've been going this time... Oh, and it did start snowing. Look at that. All right. Well, time to drive in the snow and get the clothes washed. So, yeah, really good information from the arpeggio workout video we looked at today. It's definitely, you want to practice arpeggios, it's a very good thing to try. You will be training that brain possibly more than your fingers. All right. Quite welcome, Mr. Joe Lou. So yeah, that's it for this week. I'll be back same time next week, 2 p.m. Mountain Time, 1 p.m. California time. And that is that. So thank you, everyone who came in and watched, participated. I will see you again next week.